Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you a fun project in Photoshop called the Stretch Pixel Effect. To create something like this from a photo of a person jumping or dancing, these are really fun to do. Here are some that I have made. So when you look for a photo, find somebody who's got arms and legs extended. All right, let's jump in. So I've got this photo loaded in my Photoshop. First thing we've got to do is we've got to remove her from the background. So the easiest way to do that is with the quick selection tool. And at the top, you will see select subject. So Photoshop's going to just select her. This looks pretty good. I'm going to unlock my background layer. I'm going to go to select, inverse. So my marching ants are going around the edge of the photo so I can delete my background, hit the delete button. Command D will deselect those pixels. All right, now we need to add a background layer. So let's go to this little plus button at the bottom of the layers panel, and we're going to fill this with white. The easiest way to fill this with white is to hold the command button and the delete key, command delete, or option delete. On a PC, that would be control delete or option delete or alt. And those two, what that's doing is it's toggling back and forth between these two right here. The other way you could do it is with your paint bucket tool that lives under the gradient. Just make sure that the white is on top when you use your paint bucket tool, and then you just drop your paint. All right, we're going to drag that layer underneath so we've got her on top of a white piece of paper. Okay, now we need to select the pixels that we're going to use for the circle effect. And a neat tool that Photoshop has is under the rectangular marquee tool, they have a single row or a single column marquee. Basically what this is, it's a selection, and you can do it in a circle or a rectangle, but I like this one because it allows you to grab one line of pixels. And because this photo is kind of tall, I'm going to use the single column, and I'm just going to drag. I'm just going to click on the page, and actually it creates a line, and I can move this wherever I want. I'm trying to get the area that covers the most amount of ground, like from the red of the book all the way through. I want all of these colors. All right, so I've got it there, and all I need to do now is hit Command on a Mac or Control on a PC, Command J like jump. And what that's going to do is jump that little selection to its own layer. I'm going to turn her off for a second. And if you can see, there is a very thin line. That is the line of pixels that I've just copy and pasted onto its own layer. All right, I want to hit Command T like Tom. I'm going to transform this. Command or Control T. Now, here's the tricky part. You've got to hold the Option, the Alt or Option button, and the Shift button at the same time. And you see how this becomes this little double arrow? Well, this lets me stretch this out. I'm not sure why I'm not able to see it yet, because sometimes I can see it. But when I've stretched it out, looks like nothing has happened. But I'm going to hit this little plus or this little check mark up here. There it is. There's my colors. So all I've done is taken a single line of pixels that I've dragged from that photo and stretched it across the canvas. I'm going to scoot this over. I'm going to hit Command minus to zoom out so you can kind of see it is going across and going over the edge of the page. It's okay. All right. So I'm going to drag that layer underneath my girl, and I'm going to turn her back on. So, all right, there she is. Now, anytime I want to move something, I can use my move tool. Right now, I've got the middle layer selected, and I can move that down. If I want to transform it more, Command T, like Tom, will transform, and you can drag and size things around. But I think right now, this is looking good. So I'm going to put a filter effect on this. So I'm on my middle layer. I'm going to filter, distort, polar coordinates. Now, right now, I'm going to hit this little minus button to back it out. We were kind of zoomed into the center of the circle, so it didn't look like much was going on there. But I'm going to say, okay. All right, there she is. I can take this move tool and move that circle around. A Command or Control T will let me transform the size. And I can just kind of grab the corner and shrink it. I want it about the size of her, but I want some of her body extending beyond the circle. So I'm going to keep pulling it down just a little bit. I want her knees inside. I want her hands a little bit outside. And if there's a little tiny gap right here, if you want to scoot that over so you can't see it, that's okay. But Command T will allow you to transform that circle to stretch it bigger or smaller. Once you've got the size you want, you hit the check mark and it sets it. All right. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a layer mask. So down at the bottom of the layers panel, you'll see something that looks kind of like a little camera icon. Click on this button right here, and it's put a layer mask on. And what we're going to do is get our paintbrush out, and got to make sure that the black box is on top, because when you're on the black, it's going to work like an eraser. If you messed up, hit the X key. So when the little white box is on top, it will add that back in. So you cannot mess this up. I'm just going to put the black on again. I'm going to, you choose what part of the photo do you want to have sticking out of the box. To me, because of her hands and the way that's kind of lined up, this works pretty well. If you wanted to, again, like take out a different part of the box, or if you change your mind, all you have to do is hit the X key and paint that back in. All right, that's it. You're done. It's a very simple project, but it's a fun one. I want to see what you can do. Give it a try.